Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, I'm John, this is Benny, a true nerd, and welcome to Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion. Oh, it is good to be back with Rome Total War, but this is not the Rome Total War you have seen on this channel, ladies and gentlemen, because Barbarian Invasion is something else entirely. Now, just in case you're new to this or you never saw this when it was originally floating about, Barbarian Invasion was the first DLC pack that was released for Rome Total War, and to my mind is the most interesting DLC campaign that Creative Assembly has ever put together. Not necessarily the best, most definitely not the most well polished, but the most interesting, because Rome Total War was the first ever 3D campaign map Total War game, and Barbarian Invasion was the campaign where they took that foundation and started throwing every wacky, insane idea they could think of at it. There is so much new stuff in here that had never been in a 3D Total War game before, and much of it you'll actually recognise from Total War games in the future. Refined versions of these mechanics would go on to return, but there is just so much stuff in there in its very earliest forms. Some fantastic, amazing ideas in here. Such a fascinating little artifact in the history of Total War. And the second thing that's absolutely amazing about this campaign is there was so much variety in it. And by that, I mean that every single campaign in this game felt incredibly different. There was something for everybody here. If you wanted the traditional Total War experience where you start off with a single city and you just slowly build yourself up, expand over time, marvellous. You've got the Saxons, you've got the Franks. They're exactly like that. If you were more in the mood for skipping that very initial stage and having, a small empire under your command at the beginning of the campaign, but still a big challenge, massive empire right next to you for you to fight, Sassanids were absolutely flipping spot on. If, on the other hand, you wanted to actually manage a really big empire and try and build it up, make it actually work, make it more profitable, take on your nearby neighbours, rebuild the Roman Empire that way, basically roleplay as Emperor Justinian and rebuild the Roman Empire from the east, you absolutely could do that. It was a nice, manageable campaign for the Roman Eastern Empire. And if you wanted to, you could even flipping play as hordes, something of course that you are not allowed to do in Medieval 2 Total War, where hordes would actually return. Barbarian Invasion was the first Total War 3D game that actually had hordes in it. So if you wanted to basically just begin as a horde and just travel around the world smashing the hell out of things, you go nuts. You go flipping right ahead. And then of course, there was one other thing. There was the campaign that people do not dare to speak of. The campaign for people who'd had enough of winning Total War campaigns and wanted to lose, like really lose, like they just enjoyed the sensation of a boot stamping on their face forever. I'm talking, of course, about the Western Roman Empire campaign. Difficulty factor estimated hard. Yeah, it's not kidding. It's not flipping kidding. This is not just a hard campaign. This is, to my mind, the hardest campaign that has ever existed in any Total War game in all of its history. The only one I can think of that might be more difficult is in Total War Attila, which was the Western Roman Empire campaign, i.e. the campaign that was modelled on this one. That's how far into the future Barbarian Invasion was having an impact on the Total War franchise. Generations of games later, and they were still coming back to this well for inspiration. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing indeed. So, I'm going to have a go at this, ladies and gentlemen. The Western Roman Empire campaign. On very hard of course, and there is no guarantee I'm going to win this. Because one of the big things about Barbarian Invasion is it is incredibly random. Playing as the same faction doesn't really guarantee the same result. Things can go off the rails very quickly indeed. But you know what? Let's dive in. I think you'll get the picture pretty damn quickly. So, you begin the game and this is the very first thing that you see. A storm from the east. From out of the steppes comes a new menace to the world. The Huns are the finest cavalry warriors the world has yet seen, and their rivals, or should that be victims, would do well to look to their defences. This is a time to strengthen borders, fortify cities and reinforce armies because, by the heavens, a storm is coming. So yeah, this isn't Medieval 2 Total War when the hordes, politely stay backstage until the mid and then late game when you've got plenty of time to build up your economy, build up your armies, build up big castles to make sure you can defend yourselves from them. No. In Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion, the hordes are coming from turn flipping 1. And by the way, it's not actually one horde, It's actually 2. There's a second horde coming as well. Sure, the game actually says, hey, there are people in flight, but they are just a horde. Massive armies coming in my direction. Probably. Anyway, hang on. They're up here somewhere. I think, actually, if I recall correctly... Yeah, the Huns are going to be starting somewhere around here. I think the Vandals are more around here. Now, we don't actually know which way they're going to be going. They might swing south and actually hit the Eastern Roman Empire before they hit me, which would be marvellous. But it's probably more likely they're coming in my direction, towards the Western Roman Empire. And I know we're talking about Huns, but we're not actually talking about Attila the Hun. It's 363 AD. We're about a century too early for Attila. Attila's not going to be taking part, unfortunately. Now, you might think that 2 hordes coming in would probably be my main priority right now. But no, actually. That's quite low down the list of priorities, because when it rains it pours, and when you're playing as the Western Roman Empire, it is pouring all the flipping time. We've got a much, much bigger problem, which is if we just kind of, move around the Empire here, if you just kind of, keep an eye on the little faces there, telling you how likely a settlement is to revolt. Yeah, potential for revolt, more revolt, more revolt, more revolt, more revolt, more revolt, more revolt. Yep, that's quite a lot of revolt. So basically, the entire empire is ready to break away and say, screw you, pretty much. So this is good. This is all good. And that's not actually the biggest problem either. That's a pretty major problem. It's above hordes in my to-do list. But the biggest actual problem is the economy. You see, I've got an empire of this size, which is massively underdeveloped to represent the decline in the Roman Empire. And I've only got 1,000 denarii to start me off. And if I just actually nip over to my financial tab here, that situation's not actually going to get any better. Even if I don't spend any money this turn whatsoever, next turn I'm going to have 138 denarii, and then that's going to be it. I'm going to be into debt. So basically, I'm pretty much bankrupt. Economy. That's the big one. That's the big one right there. So, hordes are coming. My empire is pretty much all going to revolt against me in about 2 turns or thereabouts. And I've got no money to fix it. Oh, and basically no armies either. I've got, a few troops scattered around, but if I move them out of the cities, they'll be even more likely to revolt. I think this might actually be my biggest army that's actually out on the field right here. Yes, 6 units. Absolutely flipping marvellous. But before we get into all of that, ladies and gentlemen, let's just quickly set the historical scene, because the 4th century AD is a fascinating period for Roman history. This is not actually the point when the Western Roman Empire collapsed. That's about a century down the line, but this is where all of those seeds were sown. Now, you may immediately notice that, half of the Roman Empire is actually missing. So why do we not have control of all of this? Well, about 30 years before this point in history, the Roman Empire was divided in 2 by the reforms of Constantine the Great, the Eastern Roman Empire and the Western Roman Empire. Now, it's not quite as simple as all of that, and lots of people kind of misunderstand this. It wasn't just take the empire, divide it in 2, now there's 2 separate empires that just happen to share a small border over here, the area I'm looking at right now. In fact, within 30 years of this date, one guy, Theodosius, would actually be emperor of both the West and the East simultaneously. And even after the West collapsed, within 100 years of that, Emperor Justinian of the Eastern Roman Empire actually reclaimed Italy and large parts of the Western Empire and pretty much rebuilt the Roman Empire just for a little bit. Anyway, so it's a bit more complicated than this game lays it out, but for the sake of argument, what we need to know right now is we're just controlling the western half of the empire, and the eastern part of the empire is allied to us, but that won't necessarily last. We can't exactly trust them like the Julii could the Brutii, I say, in the original Rome Total War. They don't share map information with us, for example, and there's nothing tying us together as friends. It is entirely possible, and indeed potentially quite likely, sooner or later, we will go to war with each other. So for the time being, they're over there, and they're actually doing better than us. The Eastern Empire was richer, it had better trade, its tax revenues were higher, it arguably had much less dangerous neighbours. Sure, it had the Sassanids floating around, but yeah, the barbarians that came knocking on the Western Roman Empire's door up north, around Germany, they were arguably a lot more disruptive. So the Western Empire is in a much more difficult position. And that brings us to our emperor. Say hello to Valentinianus the Wrathful, or as we would commonly know him in actual history, Valentinian the First or Valentinian the Great. this man is basically deemed to be, if you like, the last good emperor of the Western Roman Empire. This was the last man who really took the machinery of the Western Roman Empire and put it on the offensive. That was actually going out and proactively trying to recover, to grab territory, to secure things, to actually, you know, reverse the decline of the Western Roman Empire. After this point, it was all playing defensively. It was slowly falling apart. It was slowly collapsing. And that's our job, ladies and gentlemen. We need to make sure that that doesn't flipping happen. Let's flipping dive in. There's a lot to flipping do over the first few turns. Because yes, we've got to sort out this economic situation, and probably as our immediate priority, make sure the entire empire doesn't rebel. So let's take Tarico here in modern day Spain, because this place is down at plus 20% public order, despite the fact that we've actually got a governor present who has got 5 points in influence, which is not bad at all. So why is this place so flipping angry? Let's actually dive into this. It's a combination of factors. Part of it is squalor, because yeah, to represent the decline in the Roman Empire, all of these cities are underdeveloped compared to how they should be versus their population. So this place is a minor city with a population of just over 10,000, so starting to approach the level where you might want to upgrade it to a very large city, but it's only got a sewer system, it doesn't have public baths. So squalor is quite high, and as a result of that, plenty of these places are losing population. So my tax base is going to shrink over time, which is no good at all. Distance to capital is a major issue as well, because of course, yeah, Rome kind of makes sense as a capital when we control the entire Mediterranean, but these days, not so much. So we might want to actually consider moving the capital away from Rome. Other than that, we've also got, yes, here we go, religion. So religion was a thing in this game, and it was quite bloody extreme. So there is an official state religion that is basically defined by what is the religion of the emperor. So in this case, Valentinian is a Christian. Now Tarico is officially a pagan settlement. So as a result of that, there is a 10% drop in happiness by default as long as Tarico remains pagan or the emperor remains Christian. But here's the thing, the population is divided between religions as well. So 30% of the population is Christian, 70% is pagan. And those 30% of people who are Christians are not keen on living in a pagan settlement, so they're going to cause trouble. Now that's going to actually decline over time because this place is going to slowly become more and more pagan as a result of the fact that, yeah, there's a pagan building in the town. This guy, I assume, is himself. Yes, he's a pagan, so he actually provides a little bit of extra weighting to conversion rate, and the neighbouring regions are all pagan as well. So this place will slowly over time become more and more pagan. So this will absolutely decline. The problem is, if we kind of just look at the religion there using these symbols, yeah, the actual empire is divided between Christianity and paganism, which makes a lot of sense because this actually was something historically that changed around a lot. The empire was re-paganized, then it was re-Christianized, and then some people said, hey, do what you want, I don't care. So as a result of that, yeah, a very mixed empire makes a lot of sense. But the problem with a mixed empire, where some people are Christian and some people are pagan, you've got pagan and Christian cities, is one group or other is always going to feel hard done by. So we might need to flipping sort that out. That might be one of the first things we need to do. Fortunately, in Rome Total War, you can just move your capital around as much as you want. It doesn't actually matter. Move it wherever it's actually convenient to be. So on this particular occasion, I'm going to move my capital to Marseille. So this just helps shore up the core empire over here. And it's going to mean the capital is now a lot closer to Spain, which would mean, yeah, some of the pressure is taken off Spain over there. It's a little bit more problematic for Italy, especially down here in Tarentum, and these settlements over here are, well, here's the thing. In Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion, you sometimes have to accept you can't hold on to everything. Some parts of the empire are going to be lost, and we'll have to go and get them back later. But for the time being, that might not be feasible. So we'll see if I can save everything, but if need be, this side of the empire is maybe going to be jettisoned just to try and shore up the rest of it. So let's actually go back over to Tarico right over here, and these guys are now straight up to plus 50%, which is much flipping better, because we took most of that distance from capital away from them. Now, if we just give them a tax cut, we've got them down to blue. And blue means there won't be rioting next turn, because I am not in a position to actually cover the cost of rioting. So that's probably a very, very good thing indeed. In fact, actually, yeah, Massilia, you might be able to pay a little bit more tax, which would be flipping magnificent. And if I just lower the tax burden around here, we've stabilised parts of the core empire, for now at least. So, I've just swung around the empire, lowering pretty much everybody's tax rate to low, with the exception of, yeah, a small number of settlements who are now in a decent enough position to have their taxes raised, like Marseille itself, like Augusta Vindelicorum over here, I think possibly Colonia Agrippina? No, they're still on normal. They're fine. So we've taken a whole bunch of settlements out of the red. There are still a couple of outstanding problems, like, yeah, Varicum is still at, that's at minus 65. Yeah, they actually don't have a governor. That's part of the problem. And down over here, Salona, I think, might just have to be jettisoned, because even with a low tax rate, they're at 20% public order, and I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. I don't, however, consider that too much of a bad thing, because the thing is, me and the Eastern Empire might end up at war, so potentially having a little buffer state between me and the East is actually a good way of avoiding that war, because then if they do get stupid and decide to attack these towns, they won't be attacking me, they'll be attacking my rebels. So, not the worst thing in the world. It should hopefully be fine. Might be able to hold on to a Quincum, and yeah, Conuntum over here. That one's going to be more tricky. Now, let's talk about the religion problem. You see, for the two branches of religion, paganism or Christianity, there's two separate religious building chains. Broadly, the way it shakes out is the pagans get the best bonuses for their temples. So yeah, the awesome Temple of Mithras gives experience bonus to troops trained here, +2, which is very, very useful indeed. Christianity, however, which goes all the way up to level 5, gives, yeah, a population growth bonus, together with, ultimately, more happiness. Because Christianity can get you up to population growth +1%, 25% happiness, religious conversion of 25%. The Awesome Temple here can get you up to 20% +2 at level 4. This one can get you up to 30% actually, with Sol Invictus. But Christians also get the Hermitage, which is a further up to 15% on top. So in terms of getting happiness up, ultimately, Christianity is the better option. But in terms of short-term benefit, paganism is not bad at all, because you get the awesome Temple of Mithras for some beautiful experience. And remember, experience is really powerful back in Rome Total War. Every single point of experience is +1 to attack and +1 to defense. So +2 experience can make a huge difference to the lower tier units. And this is arguably one of the biggest, most difficult decisions you have to take in the early game. What do you actually try and do in terms of religion? Because sure, things look like they're stabilising right now, but financially, I can't maintain this. The entire empire is at low tax, and I'm actively losing money right now, okay? I'm going to be straight into debt next turn. I can't maintain this at all. I need to find a better long-term solution. And if I could potentially get the entire empire over to a single religion, so everyone's lovely and happy and I can put up the taxes and I can get rid of that minus 10% to every single pagan settlement in the empire, that'd be flipping marvellous. Now there's a couple of no-brainers, like, yeah, Carthage over here is Christian, and this settlement down here, Leptis Magna, these guys are, yeah, they're 70% Christian, but the town is technically pagan. So we want to be actually swapping that right now. So scrap that, and instead build a Christian shrine. Spot on. The way the religion is defined, by the way, is if there's a religious building in a settlement, this settlement will always be that religion. If there's no religious building, then it goes over to the religion of the governor. If there's no governor and no religious building, I think it defaults to whatever the majority of the people in the town believe in. It just is that. I think, anyway, I'm not 100% sure on that one. So next turn, once we've actually got this here Christian shrine built, this place will flip Christian and immediately become a lot flipping happier because, yeah, it's 70% Christian already. and it's going to slowly go Christian over time because of neighbouring settlements and all the rest of it. Because, yeah, our neighbours over here, the Berbers, are also Christian, so that's going to be just flippin' marvellous. So what I'm going to try and do right now is basically Christianise pretty much the entire empire. And this is the best time to do it. Because, say, Avaricum over here, at the beginning of the game, that's 70% pagan to only 30% Christian. But with so many pagan settlements around, it's going to get more and more pagan as time goes by. There will never be an easier time to try and Christianise this place. And if you try and Christianise everything simultaneously, then they'll all actually feed into each other. Because you'll end up in a scenario where, yeah, this place and all of its surrounding settlements will all be Christian, and as a result of that, it'll flip Christian pretty bloody quickly. And once it flips Christian, you also immediately get rid of that minus 10% because the Emperor is Christian right now. It makes sense to have the Emperor and the entire Empire as part of the same religion. Except, we can't actually possibly afford to do this. I'm already down to 700 gold. There's a few answers to this, which is, the Alemanni, right here. So these guys, we're at war with them. But that doesn't mean they won't theoretically buy stuff off us. Because the thing is, I'm a massive empire that's got really good map information, which means the AI is actually going to value that weirdly highly. So what I'm going to do is, just send you over here. Have a nice chat to the Alemanni, who, yes, bear in mind, we are at war with right now. And I'm going to offer them map information. But I'm going to be needing some money for that. Because the thing is, these guys have a giant war chest to begin the game with. So they're swimming in money. So hopefully they'll be willing to take this. Map information for 1,000 denarii. And there we go. They're actually willing to flipping do that. I don't want peace with them though. Potentially, on the contrary, we might want to try and wipe them out immediately. So now I'm just going to send this guy north, and next turn, the Franks up here, we might try and do the exact same thing with them. Sell them trade rights, sell them map information. It's enough money to get me going. Not least as, if I break down the actual big pagan temples, I might be able to make enough money off that to actually fund, little Christian shrines. So if I break down a temple over here, that's 266 denarii, and the Christian shrine's only 400. So that's not too bad at all. So let's start in the actual core empire over here. The whole of Gaul. We want to make sure we hold on to that. So just start breaking down all of this and slapping down Christian shrines instead. Yes, and another good thing, of course, plenty of my actual commanders are themselves Christian. So just because the Empire looks really pagan, it's not actually that pagan in terms of the ruling family. Because, plenty of these guys will have been sent out from Rome, which is Christian, so plenty of the actual generals and leaders are themselves Christian. And as a result of that, this guy's a Christian, and he's inside a pagan settlement, and that's even worse, because, that's actually governor's religion differs from settlement, 5% negative to happiness, and 10% again for the governor. So when there's a Christian governor present, you definitely want this place to be Christian. The alternative solution, of course, would be to just try and find a way to get the emperor killed after naming someone who is a pagan the new emperor. That's potentially an easier solution, but I don't think it's the best one long term. And by the way, I've pretty much run out of money already. So I've managed to get, a whole bunch of Christian shrines down, but we need more funding to keep it going. And for that, we need to tear down some more buildings. Because, you actually get a bit of money back when you tear down buildings. I like using Spain for this, because Spain over here, there's no reason it's ever really going to need to train its own troops. So I can just basically tear down their barracks. Now the problem with this, of course, is, once they've been torn down, it costs a lot more to rebuild them. But hopefully, we'll never actually need to be training troops in Spain. If it ever gets to the stage where we're training emergency armies in Spain, then things have gone so badly wrong, at that point it's pretty much irrelevant. Now, there are exceptions to this rule. I'm not going to try and Christianise literally everywhere. Like, Syracuse here is fairly prosperous right now. This guy that's running it is himself a pagan, so if I demolish the temple and build a Christian shrine, then what will just be happening is, there'll be 5% from him towards paganism and 5% from the building towards Christianity. So the actual population won't shuffle either way. I'll just have to deal with much worse religious unrest, because it'll be the pagans who are unhappy, not the Christians. So Syracuse, I'm going to leave be. I think Britain will do the same for now, because that's actually over on an island too. So, yeah, the only guy who's actually over there is himself pagan over here, Placus Flavius. So, we'll leave Britain pagan for the time being. We might Christianize it later, but yeah, for now, we don't really need to. Now, as for the east of the empire, that's a really difficult decision. You see, the thing that we've got over here is, yeah, Carnuntum. This place starts off Christian by default, despite the fact that, weirdly, it is actually more pagan. So, I'm not sure why the game has made the decision this place is Christian, but whatever. Ah, there we go, confirmation. This place is actually officially Christian because in the absence of any religious building or any local governor, it's set by the faction leader. Good, that's a nice thing to know. And yeah, this place is 75% pagan, only 25% Christian. It's going to get more pagan over time no matter what I do, just because it's got so many barbarian neighbours around it that are also pagan. So, it's probably best to actually flip this guy the other way. Keep this little bit of the empire pagan, because I can't flip this area over here. Here's Sirmium, that's actually pagan right over there. I think it's, hang on, is Thessaloniki still there? I don't know. I think there's some more pagan settlements over here as well. Yeah, it's Macedonia. I think that area is pagan too. So there's just too much pagan pressure, and there's not enough settlements bordering each other around here. So this place is going to actually remain pagan, but I'm pretty much writing off Salona. I can't save it. So as a result of that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock down all of its military buildings. And there's a reason for that, which is in this game, rebel armies can't just pull free troops out of their arse. The rebel force that's generated when you lose a settlement can only be constructed out of units that are capable of being trained at the city that just rebelled. So if you're about to lose a city, burn its military infrastructure to the flipping ground. Because if you do that, then there's going to be nothing in the city but a giant bunch of peasants, making it very easy to take back later. Now, the problem with that is, though it makes it very easy to reclaim cities that are lost, also it means you're burning your own military infrastructure down. So you're either going to be lacking it going forward, or you're going to have to rebuild it at a greater price later. So it's not something to do lightly, but under this particular circumstance, I'm happy with that because, yeah, I think we're just going to pretty much sacrifice Salona, and, yeah, Carnuntum. I'm actually going to give these guys... I'm going to give these guys a flippin' pagan shrine. Why not? Not Mithras. We'll give you... Actually, hang on, that was... Yeah, that was 10... No, sorry, that was 5% in conversion. This one is... Okay, that's way better. Okay, why would I go for Sol Invictus? That's only 5% and 5%. This has still got the conversion rate, but it's got 10% and also experience. Yeah, Mithras is really good, by the way. Mithras is really, really damn good. So you're going to go over to Pagan next turn, which should make you a bit happier, which is marvellous. Aquincum, I'm just going to keep these guys as Pagan, because there's nothing I can really do to stop it. I mean, just look at that. Wow, okay. Characters in region. Are you like the most pagan person who ever... No, hang on. That's Christianity. Right, you are apparently the most Christian person that ever Christianed. So, favoured of God, Christianity, inspirational Christian. Yeah, here's the thing. In this game, individual characters that had the right combination of traits and a handful of good retinue could impose ludicrous amounts of religious conversion strength. And it was applied to wherever they were standing. So it was entirely viable as a tactic if you wanted to flip a settlement from another empire to you by changing it from their religion to yours, to just basically gather a bunch of really holy people together and then just have them stand just over the border, and like, I don't know, the entire population of the city comes out to hear them preach or something, because that city will flip to your religion and will basically be unmanageable by its owner, which is just flipping marvellous. Now I know that this guy right here is like super Christian. Oh, that's interesting. Right, what I'm going to do in that case, okay, change of plans. I'm actually going to flip Salona to become Christian, which is going to make them even less happy, but this guy might be able to sort that out. So demolish that, flip this to Christianity, because this place is going to go like super Christian. This place is... Okay, sorry, I've changed my mind. You're going to go Christian. You might actually leave the Empire, but you'll be 100% fine. This place is... Ooh. Okay, there's potential for a revolt that I've just introduced, but it's going to be fine, because next turn, the amount of actual, religious unrest is going to drop by like 40%, because this guy's just going to basically go outside and say, hey guys, have you thought about Christianity? And everyone's going to reply, that sounds really convincing when he says it, yes. And once that's done, I might be able to use this guy to, just flip all of these settlements to Christianity too. Okay, interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. I've also got myself, a diplomat right here. Okay, I'm just going to send him over to the east and see if we can just get ourselves map information for map information. So we are allies with these guys, but we're not exactly close friends. It's, an alliance of convenience. Right, so now I've taken my empire that was looking stable and I've made it much worse. But in the long term, this is going to be better. I promise, I absolutely promise. The next thing I need to do is cut expenditure massively. Because the reason we're so poor is because, hang on, let's just take a good example right over here. Yeah, this city right here, which is a large town, has no port. This area over here, no port. Who else doesn't actually have a port? Mediolanium, no flipping port. Flipping 20,000 people are here, no port. The problem is lack of trade. Alright? Because trade is the money maker in Rome Total War, and there's no trading going on right now. So we need to find a way to cut expenditure until we can get trade rolling. Once we get trade rolling again, we will be in good shape. So what I really need to actually get rid of is, navies. Navies are not that expensive, but 172 a turn for just a random trireme out in the middle of nowhere? No, that's no good at all. Where's the nearest port, by the way? There aren't really any. There's no ports around here. Marvellous. I'm just going to send it over here, because, you actually need to bring a ship back to port to break it down. These guys I could just break down immediately. In fact, you know what? I'll actually break this guy down right now. There we go. So we'll get rid of that. Maybe I'll keep this one trireme and that bireme can go. They don't cost much more than each other, so it doesn't really matter. The thing is, there's going to be pirate fleets that are going to show up with like triple trireme, and there's nothing I can do about it regardless, so there's no point paying for a fleet that's too weak to actually defend me. So I'm just going to send you over here. I'm going to break you down as well. This is going to save me a fair bit of money right over here. Do I need to maintain... Would I like to maintain one boat in this part of the world? What do I actually need boats for in this part of the world? Probably nothing, to be honest. We're not going to be launching any invasion from Spain down into Africa. So I'm just going to break down this ship as well. And okay, I'm almost afraid to look at this, but what do the financials say right now? Okay, so I'm going to end up with minus 562 next turn. So this is marvellous. That's all just going spot on. I do, however, need... I need a fleet in this part of the world, because I need to consider moving my commanders about. And the Berbers are going to attack Carthage. I might need to bring in reinforcements. Having some ships floating around in this part of the world is useful. And this boat needs to stay for a very similar reason. You see, there's one more piece of the puzzle we haven't talked about yet. And that's commanders. So you've got a real kind of spread of leaders and commanders inside your empire right now at the beginning of the game. They're on a sliding scale between utterly hopeless and just mostly hopeless. You have truly, truly terrible, terrible leaders inside many of your cities. It's worth just having a little loosey-roundy, because many of your cities are better off if you literally just take the governor and make him go stand in the middle of nowhere where he can't mess it up anymore. So let's have a little look-see at Carthage here. I think this is a good example. So yeah, Appius Flavius over here. I mean, he doesn't look too terrible as a starting point. Influence 3 out of 10. No command, no management. But yes, unfortunately, he is a glutter, a gambler, swivel-eyed up the greens. This means he supports a particular chariot team, which is not good, because, you know, if you're publicly known to be associated with one chariot team, then all the other fans of the other chariot teams are not keen on you, so it leads to more unrest and reduced law. But yeah, right now Carthage is registering minus 337 gold. Now, Just as a reminder, that does not mean the city is actually losing money. It's just the way that Rome Total War records income. The game simply assigns the amount of money that Carthage ought to be paying based on its size. So the game says, okay, Carthage ought to pay 2,000 towards just troops on account of the fact that Carthage is a big city. Carthage itself is not costing me any money. It's generating all of this money. It's just not making enough money to cover what the game thinks it ought to be covering. If we take this commander, however, and make him step outside, that goes up from minus 337 to plus 8. Carthage is better off with this guy standing outside the flipping walls. Aside, of course, from the problem that he's got some influence, so that has a negative impact on public order. So you often have to make some very difficult choices with your commanders. Sometimes removing them from the city will lead to more money, but less public order. Sometimes it'll be reversed. You can actually get yourself more public order, but less money if you actually remove them. Because, yeah, there are some terrible, terrible traits. Just until we've stabilized for the time being, I'm going to move him back into the city. Because Carthage right now is... Actually, yeah, Carthage is like 90% Christian. So it's not going to get any more Christian. But as time goes by, yeah, the unrest might go down a tiny, tiny amount. Here's a good example. Lepchus Magna is currently at, 5% public order. If I get this guy to step outside, that immediately goes up to 50% public order. Because, without him there, because he's a pagan, the town is immediately auto-Christianized, which makes them a lot flipping happier. But it costs me about 100 gold. So as the town's going to auto-Christianize when we've actually got the building down next turn, I'll leave him inside. So this is the sort of trade-off you have to make with your commanders. Now, here's a pro tip. The commander you're really interested in is the guy who's chilling out over here in Carolis. Decimus Flavius. Decimus Flavius is flipping amazing. Christian, good honest Roman, very lively, extremely loyal, skilled bureaucrat, expert on natural philosophy, superior trader, and he's stuck over here in a settlement that doesn't have a port. And a further 5% bonus on trade income off the little kind of, imperial role he's been given. So, for some reason, he's chilling out over here, which he really, really flipping shouldn't be. He needs to be moved to Rome as soon as flipping possible. Now, Carolis is actually fine on a low tax rate. That's absolutely a-okay. So, it doesn't really need... Hang on, how Christian is this place? Not that Christian, fine. We need to actually give them a shrine, otherwise it won't actually shift at all. Right, you... Get over here. Can you actually get in the boat? No, you can't get in the boat. Fine. We'll get him to Rome next turn. Because, yes, Valentinian the Great himself, this guy is very Christian. 5% Christian conversion for being a Christian, but 10% on top of that, hear the word of the Lord. He's very good at converting people. So as a result of that, we might want our emperor to take a little tour of the empire in order to, get people on side. Because one of the cities I'm really worried about is Ravenna. I do not want to lose Ravenna, because Ravenna is in Italy, and it's got legion barracks, and it's got itself cavalry stables, and it's got itself a blacksmith. This is a good trading spot. I don't want to lose it. But right now, what's going to happen next turn? The Christianity thing is going to go away. Paganism is going to start being a problem. It's going to be about the same level of problem. We need to flip this place more Christian faster. So what I'm going to do is... I think Rome will be fine by itself. If I actually step you outside of Rome, are you going to be okay? I don't really want Rome to rebel, to be honest, but we might not have a choice. Okay, just to keep Rome safe, I'm going to move them over to monthly games, which is expensive. That's money I don't want to be spending, but it'll keep Rome secure just for the time being. Because, Valentinian needs to move over to Ravenna. And the reason he needs to do that is because I need this place Christian as quickly and as soon as possible. And don't forget, back in these days, you can actually move retinue around nice and easily. So this guy comes with, Elder Senator and Historian. This guy is currently running the shop, but... he's got himself an influence of 4, which is not bad. it's probably best we actually continue letting him run things. But yeah, the extra religious conversion from the Emperor is going to be, yeah, look at that. So now this place is going to Christianize a lot faster, which is solid. So the Emperor's going to hang out in Ravenna to help out with the difficult transition over there. Mediolanum is another concerning place, to be honest. That's concerning. How good is this place right now? Hang on. So the city is 50%. I might need to prop this open with games. You, I think, if I moved you over to Mediolanum... Okay, Mediolanum will actually calm down. Ravenna is at 35. I'm going to move them over to... Oh, even with daily games. Oh, bloody hell. Okay, take the hit. Take the hit. I don't want problems in... Actually, that's too expensive. How much is that? Yeah, that's like... Ouch, that's like 600-700. Okay, Mediolanum will be fine for now. Yeah, you're pagan for the time being. But this place is about to slightly Christianize. I'll flip these two round next turn. I'm willing to accept, yeah, just a turn of rioting in Ravenna. It should be fine. Rome is fine. Tarentum is fine. These places are not fine, but there's nothing I can do about it. And if this place flips, it just flips. This place is going to Christianize. Yeah, there's a lot to do in turn 1 in Barbarian Invasion. Here we go. Another good candidate for someone who just has to step outside and wait, potentially. Carthaginoa is 35% public order right now. There's a decent enough guy here, but unfortunately, he's very pagan. So we're just going to make him step outside. This place drops to, yeah, 5%, which in all fairness doesn't make the slightest bit of difference, really, but it makes a lot more money. Yeah, that's due to wildly extravagant 30% penalty on tax income, plus corruption, all the rest of it. Not good at all. Now, we do have some spared troops floating around here in Spain. Send enough of them to Tarraco, just to calm the place down a bit. Carthaginoa might be a lost cause, but that's fine. We've already taken out its military infrastructure. I'm going to send some of these troops down south to potentially deal with any revolt that occurs here. Carthaginoa, we might just lose. Salamantica... That's going to be touch and go. Depends how it responds to being flipped to Christianity and whether we can actually recover it in time. Avaricum is always difficult to hold on to. Avaricum's never not difficult. Is there anyone round here I could potentially move in that direction? No, but there is a very strong commander down here by the Mediterranean. So, yeah, obsessional trainer, famously courageous, in route health, logistics expert. This guy is a strong military commander. And hang on, how loyal are you? Not spectacularly loyal, but you'll do the job. I'll probably actually have him start moving in the direction of picking up a handful of troops from northern Italy and get him up towards the front. Because this here by the barbarians is where there's going to be trouble. And in terms of troops I want to knock down, cavalry is very expensive. 300 denarii upkeep. Get rid of some of that if we can. I don't really want that much cavalry floating around. Get rid of some of this too. That's fine. Yeah, you can see that making a really positive impact on how much these towns are being charged, because it's expensive stuff, cavalry. We don't need all of it. Okay, Avaricum's just a lost cause, I think. Potentially, yeah, if it actually causes too much rioting and we can't stabilise it next turn, I will burn its military infrastructure down. We'll just have to retake it. So, that's a lot of talk about how screwed we are and how we're all about to die. Now, let's focus on the positives, which is we need to go on the offensive, because that's what this moment in history is all about for Rome. Valentinian the Great was pretty much the last time Rome decided to get out there and try and actually kick ass and take names. And that's exactly what we need to do. Economically, we're in a hole right now, and just deleting troops is not going to do the job. We need to start raising settlements as fast as possible. And the first target is the Alemanni over here. They've got one capital. It's not desperately well guarded right now. We have a decent army floating around nearby. These guys need to die, like, as soon as flipping possible. Now, how many troops can we potentially spare from Augusta Trevorum here? Because this place is already at only 50%. It might not be a terrible idea to actually just ship troops down. How much of that happiness is tied to garrison? Only 25%, to be honest. It doesn't make a huge amount of difference. I might just ship some troops down. Is this guy a competent leader? by the way. So, superior attacker, expert infantry commander, scarred. Good. This guy, competent commander, is going to be able to stand up in a fight, so we can actually commit him. Very, very nice indeed. In which case, let's send at least a handful of troops to support him. So, that's not going to make much difference, is it? Tiny bit, not much at all. So this guy has, now got at least an okay-sized army. There's more troops over here we can potentially send over to. Obviously, actually, I might just be able to, I can literally just afford one extra troop if that's what I actually need. And the other place we need to be a bit more offensive is the Celts up in Britain. So, Dalriada up here. This place is going to be a thorn in my side. It's going to be repeatedly attacking York and London here. We need to take care of it. So, thankfully, we have a decent commander here. He's not bad at all, Placus Flavius. Problem is, he's all about the flipping cavalry. And we don't actually have much cavalry to give to him. So, despite the fact he's an inferior infantry commander, that's all we flipping got. Alright, that's all we flipping got. So, if I just basically take absolutely all of your troops and just step them outside, York is not happy at all. Hang on, if I lower the tax rate, actually it's not that bad. Right, ship some troops up from London. I think we can just keep York happy like that. So this guy's got this army right here, which will do. Dalriada is not actually that well defended. So I'm just going to basically march these guys straight on up. And if we can knock out Dalriada straight away, that'd be marvellous. And if I can actually send some more troops as reinforcements up here. Okay, get London down to normal tax rate, that's fine. Then I can send... then I can actually send those archers up. A little bit more indirect fire wouldn't hurt at all. So, I've got 2 offensives on the go right now. I'm moving up against the Picts in Scotland, and I'm moving over here against the Alemanni with my only decent army. Economically, I'm going to end up in a hole really, really, really flipping fast. I don't do anything here, by the way. No, we're just going to have to wait and see what happens there. Right, so that was turn 1. That was turn 1. Don't worry, after this first initial turn, things start moving a lot flipping faster in this game. In fact, arguably, a lot too flipping fast. Do I need this boat, by the way? I don't need this boat. This boat can just naff the hell off. We don't need any more boats than what we've got here. Yeah, that should be absolutely fine. So now we see what happens next. And what happens next is everything catches fire. But now we get to figure out exactly what catches fire and how bad the fire is. Okay, let's see how bad this situation's managed to get itself, which is York has immediately been bribed by the Picts. That's absolutely fine. Who's dead, if anybody? And the answer is someone who was over in Salamanca, who I think was actually decent, but that's a shame. Some people are going to die, and it means I'm not paying their salary anymore. It's not so bad. And Bordeaux over here. You, I think, were not very good. Honestly, I can deal with that. I've managed to stave off, rebellion too widely, just by virtue of, whacking on games and whatever where I can. So, I just need to keep things stable while things Christianize. I'm just going to basically whack games up everywhere I can. Because here we go. Things are actually looking mostly okay. I'm not sure why you're actually, revolting. You are supposed to be content, but okay. Can I bring you down to... No, we definitely can't bring you down to that. Right, monthly games will do for you for the time being. Aulus Flavius. Ravenna should be Christianizing... Oh, yeah, look at that. Ravenna is Christianizing like crazy. So, Ravenna... Hopefully, can I bring you to... monthly games rather than daily. That's absolutely fine. Obviously, rebels are just popping up as usual. You, get over here, get over to Rome, and start managing the place. And you, look at that. Much better. In fact, we can actually put the tax rate up, or cancel some of the games. Cancel the games, and put the tax rate up. Right, Rome is now making a lot more flipping money. And this guy, I think this guy's actually pretty good. Right, actually, remind me, who's currently the faction heir? Because, just because of rioting, Valentinian could just die any time. And you are... No, you're not very good. Here we go. Decimus Flavius. You, my good man, are now the factionaire. Wait, hang on, I actually forgot to check. Yes, you're Christian. It's very important you're Christian, because you're about to inherit a newly Christianized empire. Now, admittedly, we might be about to lose northern France. If we do, that's fine. We'll just have to go and get it back later. Okay, candidates that we are going to lose next turn, because 2 turns in a row of rioting, you lose the place. Carthaginoa, nothing I can really do about that one. 25% happiness. These troops aren't going to get there in time. In which case, rather than actually take damage, these troops should just abandon the place, and then we will take it back immediately. That'll be fine. You probably aren't needed down here, to be honest. You should actually, head up in this direction to go and help out with any of the rest of it. You actually, Oppius Flavius, get back over here just for the time being. We'll send you some reinforcements along the road. You join up with them. Obviously, what I need right now is a major peasant uprising. That's just flipping marvellous. And then, yeah, you can take care of this. Fine. In which case, is there any military infrastructure left in here? Yes, there is. Screw it. Tear it all down. We can't hold a Varicum. I'm not having that place held by legionaries and whatever. That's not acceptable. We'll leave the blacksmith, though. Yeah, fine. So now any revolts here should be easy to put down, but I won't be able to actually train any troops here. Britain is fine, aside from the fact we just, lost it. But other than that, it's fine. So this is all okay. Let's just actually get this place straight back under siege. We'll be able to take it straight back because, yeah, it was purchased, not conquered, so it's not properly garrisoned. So we can just go in there, knock down these guys, and then we can basically burn this place to the ground. When you have the option to, burn everything to the ground just to stabilize, just for 1 flipping minute. Now, here's a bit of a sad one. I'm not sure we're going to be able to hold Augusta Trevororum up here, and that's a real problem, because I don't want to have to burn down the militia barracks and the stables here. I really would rather not. How's the religious situation going? It is swinging Christian. Next turn, paganism unrest will go down 15%. But that's only 65%. That's not enough. That's not a flipping enough. And I don't think I've got enough troops around here. Are you by any chance? No, you're not. Hang on. Unless, do you actually have anything here I could give you in terms of... No, I've not got anything in terms of retinue. That's a shame. And also, you're corrupt, -3 from law. No, you wouldn't make a better commander to try and hold this place. A shame, but I think we're actually going to lose Augusta Trevororum to a rebellion, which is a real shame. The only way to avoid that would be to deploy Marcus the Gambler north. And I cannot do that. I must not, because in terms of the economy, I have to take out the Alemanni now. Their city needs to be burnt to the flipping ground immediately. So we'll just move you here, put this place under siege, immediately start building all of that, send any reinforcements that you can spare over to Marcus the Gambler. Seems like this place is actually pretty calm with being Christian, which is... I swear I just sent you to join that guy, but okay. That's fine. So now, this guy has got himself not a great army, but it'll have to flippin' do. Right now, it's the faction leaders. That's a lot of heavy cavalry, 2 basic spear warbands, Lombard archers. Right, we can probably handle that. Hopefully, anyway. And would you believe Christianity just became the majority faith in the entire world because of what I just did? Yay me! Ah, yes, of course. And the new guy who just showed up in Rome. Rome actually has a decent army. So, you stupid rebel bastards, can naff off, actually. So, this seems like as good a time as any to introduce the troops of the Western Roman Empire. This is a rare example of a good army. We won't be seeing many of these. For the most part, the Western Roman Empire does not have much in the way of good troops. But thankfully, Rome itself is guarded by the decent stuff. So these are Comitatenses. Basically, they're just legionaries. They act like legionaries or principes would in Rome Total War. They are very, very good. They are solid. They are well armoured. They've got a throwable they toss in before they charge. They'll win most fights you put them into. They're flipping marvellous. Except we've got some problems, which is, in terms of range, the Western Roman Empire is terrible. In terms of archers, it's only got basic archers with an attack of 5 and low range. They are terrible. We do, however, have crossbows. These guys are armor-piercing, which is really, really nice indeed. You don't get much armor-piercing range damage in this game, but crossbows do get it. The problem is, yeah, they do need a really, really accurate, precise, straight line of sight to the enemy to actually hit them. So it's kind of difficult to use them well. The cavalry is actually not that bad. We've also got this fun unit here, Catholic Priests. These are basically like, you know, motivational units. They can fight, don't expect them to do well. They're really more about, yeah, using the ability chant to inspire the troops in front of them. So here we go. My crossbows have actually got a good shot right here at some mercenary veterinarii. So these guys are heavily armoured, but as soon as we actually get ourselves some proper bolts coming in, look at that. That actually does some real damage to them, which is spot on. So basic archer fire does almost nothing to them. That was basic archers. So that did like one person's damage, whereas when the bolts come in from the crossbowmen, down to like 150. Very, very good indeed. So, looks like there's a couple of... yeah, there's actually some flipping peasants coming this direction. No. I don't think you get to do that. And yeah, these hardcore rebels who are effectively, yeah, the legionaries, same as I've got, they are just collapsing in the face of crossbow bolts. Crossbowmen are hard to use, but when you do actually get some good hits in with them, they are flipping brutal right here. So yeah, just a couple more rounds in on them, and screw it, I'm just going to charge my cavalry at them. These are heavy infantry, these are light cavalry. In fact, you know what, that's a waste. Let's actually just keep my cavalry dancing for the time being. And these guys, yeah, change your target over to here, if you'd be so kind. And now they're facing away from me. Now I'm willing to just give a little bit of a charge into their flank. That should be absolutely fine. And in come the peeler. Look at that. The peeler is armor piercing, same as it ever was. So, yeah, that's why it's doing so much damage to these guys, which is beautiful. I'm just going to pull my crossbowmen back because they're very, very powerful indeed. And these guys are already shaken, wavering, and momentarily we can actually just hit them in the flank with these cav. That'll be absolutely lovely. In fact, you know what? Why even bother? I can just pick them apart. So yeah, your indirect fire is most definitely a bit on the weak side, but under the right circumstances, it can do a decent job. Alright, back over here on the actual campaign. Use games to prop up Italy if we need to. Because every single turn, yeah, paganism unrest is going down and down and down. How is Ravenna right now? Because, yeah, Valentinian the Great might want to actually continue moving around a little bit to potentially help convert Mediolanum faster. Yeah, if I have you step outside, Ravenna goes over to... you know what, I'll put you over to Daily just for safety. And then I'm moving you over to Mediolanum. Alright, just to make absolutely sure this place flips faster. Because now, yeah, that's 20% drop in paganism unrest in the next day. That's good. So that should be Italy secure. Alright, no problems over on Carolis. We will lose a couple of settlements over here in Carthaginoa and Salamantica. Nothing we can do about that, so I'm going to abandon the city right now. Move the troops straight over to this guy, which is absolutely fine. He's just going to stand by and deal with that, because when this place rebels, there's no troop training facilities. Same problem, actually no, not same problem over here. Good job I noticed actually that. Salamantica, get rid of all of that business. Tarico is stable for the time being. I've got a spy over here who's just going to come and have a little look-see. I'm just going to send him over to the front. Mainly because, remember, there's actually hordes coming at me right now while I'm trying to deal with all of this madness. There's flipping hordes coming this way, which is just magnificent, obviously. Nothing I can do about any of these settlements in northern France, which is very appropriate, really, because this is a bit of the empire that did actually fall off. So, you know, that's good. This is all historically accurate. Ah, yes, and in terms of making money, the Franks. So, trade rights, they will pay, hopefully, a fair amount of money for, because they are just swimming in money right now. I'm going to try and get 1,000 for trade rights. And they actually think that's a good deal. And I'm also going to sell them map information for another 1,000. Because they're just swimming in so much money, the AO doesn't seem to value it. And they go for that too. So, spot flipping on. Next up, head north towards the Saxons, offer them the same deal. I've now actually got some flipping money, which is a really strange position to be in as the Western Roman Empire, but it'll flippin' do. Right. Can I save Augusta Treverorum? That's the big one. Now, there is, of course, one thing I could do. The old Rome Total War trick, where I could just basically spam peasants in order to reduce the population, because peasants are committed. I have made the decision I'm not going to do that, because I consider that too much of a manipulation of the game's systems. If you're just using it to move population around, that's fine and understandable. If you're using it during this campaign to artificially reduce the risk of rebellion, I think that's a bit dodgy, to be honest. I don't think we should really be doing that. So, as a result of that, tragically, Augusta Treverorum, I'm going to knock down its infrastructure. And if I can do, I'll actually send some of these troops back home again, just to get this place back to where it should be. In fact, actually, could you send me the archers would be quite useful. Yeah, abandon the actual city, step outside as best we can, send the peasants over here as a trade for the archers. This place will, and I may as well actually just make a bit of money out of it. Why not? You're about to rebel. I may as well put your tax rate right up. Screw you. Make a bit more money. Yay. This place can't be saved either. Right, so we're about to lose our first few settlements. And it's going to be, yeah, half of Spain, most of France, and a fair bit of this over here. So basically, it's most of the empire. It's most of the empire. Oh, also Letkis Magna. Glad I spotted that down there. Good, good. But what we do have left over in change, which is very, very important, is enough to get a few ports down. Alright? If we're capable of building a port, build a flipping port. Everywhere that doesn't have a port should have a port. Okay, here it comes. The Empire falling apart in 3, 2, 1... And total flipping... Never mind, sorry, that boat needs to continue moving over towards London. That's very important. But as soon as that's done... And also... Oh yeah, sorry! I meant to swap map information with you. Yes, let's do that too. That's also important. We're postponing the inevitable here. It's fine. It's called dramatic tension. It's good stuff. They're actually refusing map information to me. That's how close me and this guy are as friends. Marvellous. And there we go! In come the rebellions! So, fun thing, when an actual city decides to rebel in Barbarian Invasion, if you're a Roman faction anyway, it doesn't just go rebel, it joins a brand new faction. These green cities are all allied together, which is pretty darn cool. And wait, Aquincum didn't rebel? Are you sure? I mean, I kind of feel like they should have done, to be honest. But okay, fine, whatever. So what basically happens is any actual troops that are sitting inside will be kicked out. And then if you want to, they can actually just, you know, be involved with taking the city straight back again. So Carthaginoa right here has indeed generated nothing but peasants, because I took out their military infrastructure before we began. So we can put this place straight back under siege. Absolutely flipping spot on. So we can either starve them out or we can actually just decide to attack in full. Honestly, we're probably better off just, yeah, attacking them. That's fine. 2 turns for 2 towers and whatever. Peasants will not be able to stand up to my actual troops that I've got here, which will be lovely. Cordoba is starting to settle down because this place is getting more and more Christian. And yeah, the actual paganism is going down 10% a turn, meaning... Oh, wow, we're at minus 8,000. Yeah, that's because, like, you know, about 1/3 of my entire tax base just decided it wanted to be part of an unrelated empire. So, we need to counteract that. That's fine. That's all 100% fine. Because, thankfully, you stupid bastards decided you wanted to rebel. Which is marvellously good news, but more importantly... It's the Alemanni. Oh, poor Augusta Treverorum. I'm so sad we had to bloody sack that place. Yeah. This should be... Oh, is that going to be enough? I know it looks like these guys have got loads, but those are just peasants. I can probably handle this. Also, who's actually running the show? Whoever it is, I can't see. Right, okay. Put this place straight back under siege. The troops from... I'm still amazed you guys haven't rebelled. I wonder if I could somehow actually keep these guys on board. No, because even if I made them the capital, that would only be 70%. As I say, I could just actually spam some troops, but I consider that cheating. And you didn't go either? Oh, wow. Okay, I thought that was a guaranteed thing. Okay, well in that case, I think we'll actually just, keep you in the Empire, because why not? I could do with the flipping taxpayers. And Mediolanium is flipping really, really fast. That is so Christian right now. Ravenna is chilling out too. We can move them over to monthly games, get the troops back into Rome. Rome with a population of 44,000 but going down fast. Can now actually have normal tax and yearly games. That's flipping brilliant. Salona, not sure we can really do much with that. I don't have the troops. No, that's not going to fly. I'll send these guys north to Aquincum, and we'll come back and deal with Salona later. Best thing to do is, be to knock down... Oh! Did I forget to knock down your training facilities? Did you actually have some barracks over here? I probably did as well. Right, you head over to Aquincum. Alright, we'll regroup there, and then this guy, because this place is now, like, super Christian, like, ludicrous Christian, he can actually take these places back, and he can re-Christianize them at the same time. Ravenna and Mediolanium are safe for now, but here's the big one. The actual Alemanni capital. And you just spawned an extra family member out of your arse. I just saw that. That's cheating. So before we go in, we need to actually discuss the full Western Roman Empire army, because at its lower levels, it's terrible. We've already discussed we've got some really good comitatenses right here. Really good solid legionaries. Great guys. And the archers are terrible, but they're numerous. They'll do the job if they can just shoot enough people in the back. Sadly, these are your basic infantry, the Limetane, and they are not very good. They are effectively the equivalent of Town Watch or Levy Spearmen or whatever. They are, they're kind of weird. They're really weird, which is they've got such an odd distribution of stats. Their melee attack is only 4, because these guys, being your basic infantry, replace the Town Watch. I know you might look at them and think, oh, they're Hastati because they're basic infantry, they've got a throwing thing, they've got the peeler. No, these are not Hastati. They're much worse. Kind of. With a melee attack of only 4, Town Watch back in Rome Total War only had a melee attack of 3. So, they cannot kill anything for toffee. They are useless at killing. But they've got a defense of 17. Which, for 173 upkeep, is actually really, really good. 6 of that's also armor. So, if they're going up against, basic archers that don't have armor piercing, they can stand up to that really, really well. They are cheap, effective defense, but don't expect them to actually kill anything. And despite the fact that they're clearly holding a spear, they are not spearmen. They do not get a bonus versus cavalry. Really easy mistake to make. This is actually also one of my favourite units, despite it being kind of terrible, just because it makes so much sense in terms of the lore. Because the actual historical Limetane, the whole point was they were supposed to just hang out on the frontier and slow the enemy down. They weren't supposed to win battles. They were just supposed to be a stalling and a garrison force that was designed to just, keep the enemy busy while the real big hitters, the legionaries, the comitatenses, showed up and actually won the battle. So it makes such perfect sense. They have tons of defense, but barely any attack. I flipping love that. It's so well thought out. So, in we flipping go. We have got the troops, but they have got the heavy cav. They have got a lot more heavy cavalry, and I don't have a single spearman in this army, so this is not necessarily the most easy thing in the world, especially as, this guy is also brave, and he hates Romans, so he gets bonus command right now. So, first things first, we've got to be knocking down this here gate. No defenses in the way, there are the archers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy my own archers forward as fast as possible, obviously putting them in loose formation to try and nail their archers. Now, those archers are superior to mine, which is going to be universally true. If you're playing as the Western Roman Empire and you see any other archers, you can just assume ahead of time that those archers are superior to yours, because that's just how it flipping goes, alright? And by the way, can you actually... if you can take a shot, just take it right now. Just actually start firing on those guys. Beautiful. They're actually starting to retreat. So just keep moving up, and then shooting them in the back if you'd be so kind. They're trying to reload. They won't be able to do too much to me. And what have we got here? Here we go. Nice spear warband, so we can shoot them in the back too. So these guys are firing on me. Who are they firing at, actually? no one by the looksy of things. Yes, they're just backing off. Good. So we can just actually start getting some shots in on them. We've got a good angle right about here. So we can start taking these guys out. Hitting the spears in the back. Obviously hitting spearmen in the rear is an excellent way of tearing them apart. So we've driven them back from the walls. And my 4 archers are going to get some really, really good early hits in right there. Spot on. Nothing about the spear warband, by the way, is... I can't remember exactly how many they get. I think they might actually start off with 240 of them. You get a lot of spearmen for your money. So while we're just knocking down the gates, here's what we need to have a think about here. My Limitane are completely useless in a fight, but they can hold the line. My Cometer 10 says are really, really damn good at murdering, but we've got to keep them safe, because I don't have anywhere to heal them up around here. Way out here on the frontier, the nearest legionary barracks is... I don't know, possibly it's in northern Italy, so I do not want my Cometer 10 says to be taking damage. I need to only commit them when I'm pretty sure it's a fight they can win. So how am I going to take down the flipping cavalry? Because the Limitane are not spearmen. I would like to, if I can in any way, use the actual archers and use the pila. But it's gonna need to be done very, very carefully. By the way, I think you're actually about to run straight back into archer range, aren't you? Because if you are, that'd be marvellous. And while these guys aren't very good in melee, they do have a missile attack of 8 with their little pila. So if we can actually get in range to hit these guys with the pila, that'd be flipping marvellous. We're hitting these guys in the sides right now. The gates open, and they are not happy. I'm going to send in this first unit right now, just to see if I can basically bait them. So yeah, remember, these guys are decent defensively. They'll hold the line effectively, which means they might be really good bait to pull some of this cavalry down towards the gate, so that my archers can get in some nice free hits. Oh, in come the Lombard archers. Just going to send my own general forward to potentially deal with them. These guys outrange my archers, by the way, so I need to be really careful with that. But luckily, I don't know where they're... I don't really know where you're going right now, but I'm happy to deploy my own general in that direction because he's scarred, so he can definitely take a handful of hits. And yeah, my own archers are coming in. These guys are steady, shaken, wavering, and absolutely lovely. Honestly, I'm going to pull my own general. No, actually, we've got him on the run now. We've got him on the run. I'm going to pull him back so he doesn't actually get hit by any stray arrows. Where are their cavalry? Still not coming up. I need to bait the cavalry down here. Ideally, one at a time. Looks like their archers are just trying to lay down a bit of fire on my Limitane right now. But bear in mind, these guys have got 5 armor and really good defense. Alright, they're going to take no damage from that whatsoever. They've lost 1 man. 1 flipping man. So now I can just basically deploy my cavalry over here. Ideally, finish these guys off. And if that happens to bait any of their generals forward, that would be great. But I'd like to finish off these archers. Hello, are you taking the bait? You taking the bait? No, you're falling further and further back. Which is fine. That just means I can finish off these archers once and for all. So no annoying shots coming in. So, now we've got the old Rome Total War strategy available to us, which is, if a unit gets hit by archer fire, it will respond and try and hunt down the archers. The problem is my archers are very, very short range, and that means I need to lay out a trap around about here. We need to set up a big kill zone to lure in their cavalry. Now, the problem is... oh dear, their general and the other general are standing right next to each other, which I didn't really want to see. The best option I've probably got is a line of Limitane to basically just act as a wall. They will lose, but that's fine, because I can have my archers over here and down over here, firing into their flank and into their rear. Even though it's 5 damage and it's not armor piercing, it'll help out. The Commissantes will be here as well. They will throw in all of their pila, every single pila we've got, and then they'll charge, supported by my actual general. It's going to lead me to take some losses, but this is about 130 heavy cavalry from a barbarian faction. It's going to happen anyway. Uh-oh. We've got a Chosen Warlord moving in a little bit earlier than I was expecting. But honestly, if that pulls in one Warlord but not the other, that's not the worst thing in the world. Anyone who's still on the move, faster, if you'd be so kind. Do it flipping faster. I need you in position before these guys charge. I need these Comet 10 says not in a bad position. Oh, you guys really need to run, by the way. I need you to run right the hell now before you actually... Oh, the archers are not in position yet. The archers are not in position. The archers are not in position. Okay, he's falling back. He's falling back. Good. I was a bit worried for a second. Yeah, I need some of the archers over here. I want the Comet 10 says right here. And I want plenty of the Limitane floating around here. All of them tossing their peeler as soon as they flipping can. As soon as anything comes in this direction. This unit is the bait. Alright, so he can actually just fire into the rear, and then all the others can just start firing as soon as these guys get closer. Hopefully, that's going to be good enough. I mean, I really hope it is. The Western troops are not that good. So, this is just a question of, do I have enough javelins with enough armor-piercing damage to kill these guys before they basically do a terrible amount of damage to me? And we've got a shot at the Chosen Warlord, the one with 80 health. Alright, you, open fire. Let's see what we can do here, and let's just check the arrows are actually being launched. A few arrows are being launched, and that has got his attention. But is he actually deciding to advance, or is he just pulling further back? There we go. Alright, who's actually responding? Who's responding here? Stop, 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 stop. Everything's responding. It's not desperately good news, to be honest. Right, at this point, yeah, you just open fire. Anything you've got a shot at, open fire. In fact, it looks like these guys have actually got the better shot from over here, which is interesting. So let's see what we can actually bait out this way. So we've got ourselves, yeah, a little bit of damage being done to the spears. More attacks coming in over there. These guys guarding this area. Everyone is set to fire at will. So the moment anything actually happens here, yeah, all these guys are at fire at will. All these guys are at fire at will. But until these guys get right here, they won't be actually tossing anything at them. Come on. Here we go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. These guys are ready to toss in the peeler. In come the first set of peeler, and go, 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 go. More coming in. The Comet 10 says are possibly too far back, to be honest. Are you actually getting the... They're not getting their shots in yet. Come on, guys. Guys, you're in range. You're supposed to be in range right now. You're supposed to be in range. They're not firing. That's a concern. Okay, you can fire. Okay, they're going to get the shots into these guys, though. And in comes a lot of peeler damage over there. Right, you close the net on these guys. And as for you... Okay, you fall a little bit back. All of you guys, I want you to concentrate all your fire over there. My general needs to get involved too. He needs to get around the back of... Yeah, he needs to just cut through here. He needs to cut through here and get around the back of here. These guys are going down pretty fast, actually. My general's at 50 and he's scarred. He can take a few hits. These guys are being shot in the rear. It's not armor-piercing damage, but it's a fair bit of damage. These guys are now sandwiched by my heavy cavalry. These guys may not be that strong, but they're eager. They're holding. They'll do the flipping job. That general is wavering. These guys, at this point, just get in. Get in there. And their leader's broken. There we go. Very careful positioning has done the flipping job right there. So one of their leaders is dead. The other one is down to, yeah, falling rapidly. Good. Good, 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 good. One leader dies. That was not the actual leader. You guys, just continue firing at anything you've got a shot at this point. Lure the spear warband forward. We've taken some light knocks to the Comet 10 says, but not much at all, which is exactly what I wanted to see. You guys fall back, by the way, because you're archers, so this isn't really your job. You guys fall back pretty quickly too. I don't want you engaging any of these guys directly. That's more Limitane right there. We've got the last few of the Chosen Warlord coming in, and they will take that charge. Alright, it'll hurt them, but these guys are the ones that are easy to replace, and he's retreating immediately. Down to 6. Just shoot him in the back at this point, that's fine. More peeler coming in from every flipping side. Armor-piercing damage, and at this point, I am pretty happy to just commit my troops. Yeah, the comment 10 says we'll just actually at this point be committed. They're already fleeing. Where's my general? He's way back there. Unfortunately, yes, cavalry pathing was not very good in this game. These guys will do a good job stabbing some of these guys to death. And with that, we're done. That battle went very well, alright? When you're going up against 130 heavy cavalry in narrow city streets, and you've basically only got Limitane to act as your screening force, that's pretty good. I'm really happy with that, actually. The archers are pretty much in full condition, and the heavy infantry was basically untouched. Very happy with that, actually, yes. And with that, the Alemanni capital falls to me, and, naturally, we are massacring them, because that is just enough to wipe out the flipping debt. And by the way, you guys aren't actually going to be pagan anymore. You're going to be... Oh, that's going to be a bit of a difficult conversion. But luckily, while we've just conquered them, it's much more manageable. So, with that, one faction has been eliminated already. The Alemanni are just dead. Now you're probably thinking, John, that was actually pretty simple. Why don't you just take that army, march north, do exactly the same to the Franks, and then they'll be out of the way too. So, fun mechanic inside Barbarian Invasion. You know how there's like, you know, multiple hordes heading in our direction, right flipping now, just from like over here somewhere and we don't even know where they are. So some of the Barbarian factions, if you take out their last city, they just become a horde. They just basically spawn 4 or 5 big armies and start looking for somewhere new to settle. Which means very often it is absolute madness to murder the barbarians. Because if you actually finish them off entirely, they will become a much bigger problem than if you just leave them with one city. Which is a really good way of stopping powerful players just steamrolling everything. And it actually, you know, very nicely recreates the historical truth that Rome couldn't just send its legions to stomp on everything because, one, well, it just couldn't, but two, even if it could, that would create more problems than it solved. Because the big problem that Rome had during this period was large numbers of barbarians entering the territory that Rome couldn't actually do anything about. And as a result of that, yeah, we just have to have an uneasy peace with the Franks. We don't want to wipe them out, but we don't want them expanding or getting too strong either. Because late game Frankish armies with elite axemen are no flipping joke. They will melt my armies. So, yeah, there comes a point where you have to figure out what you're going to do to try and sabotage the Franks without actually finishing them off. Now, that all probably sounds manageable, just, you know, keep them contained to a single town, draw up a nice border, maybe when we're able to put an army on that bridge, they won't be able to get into my territory. So, remember there's already 2 hordes on the field that are just heading in this direction. Those 2 hordes can wipe out factions that are themselves horde factions in waiting. So, potentially, the Huns can trigger additional hordes to spawn. So you have no idea as the Western Roman Empire how many hordes are actually going to end up on the map by the end of the game. Because it starts off with 2, but I believe there's the Roxolani over here, who can horde. There's the Sarmatians, we can just see a bit of their territory here. They can horde if they're defeated. There's the Franks, they can horde. The Alemanni can't, of course, which is why we just knocked them out immediately. The Saxons, I think, can't, but they're way up over here. And then there's the Burgundy and the Lombardy over here somewhere. They both can. So that's about 6 to 8 thereabouts. So potentially, if you get unlucky, you can just have to face that many hordes pretty much simultaneously if there's a domino effect of hordes triggering more hordes. And it's utter flipping lunacy, but it's kind of why I love it, because playing as the Western Roman Empire is terrifying, because you have no idea whether any given day a new horde might just be created out of nowhere. Oh, and better and flipping better, yeah, the Alemanni capital I just took has a blacksmith, and I could just afford to actually give, improved weapons and armor to 2 of my legionaries. Keeping these guys alive is critical, so I am 100% doing that, yes. And while I am indeed into the black right now, next turn, hang on, yeah, I'm going to be straight back into 9,000 denarii of debt. Because I've still lost a whole bunch of territories that I'm not going to be able to get back immediately. I might be able to temporarily actually deal with that just by knocking over a Burkham. In fact, you know what? I'll just move in there now because that's nice and simple to do. That's actually just, you know, a single flipping Pictish spearman. Here we go. Nice and easy in, and just to make life a bit easier, we're just going to do a bit more population exterminating there because that way this place is more likely to stay loyal. Though unfortunately, yeah, that little stupid action with York has cost me the opportunity to knock out Del Ryder. At this point, they've actually managed to bring up, yeah, some chariots, slingers. I think they've got some, yeah, gallow glassers. Really, really hardcore infantry. We're not going to be able to knock that out, unfortunately. That's just not going to happen. We'll need to actually focus on rebuilding our troops here before we go any further north. And that certainly helped out a lot. Bit of extra money, few extra taxpayers, down to minus 8,000, but things are still not looking good. They're looking a lot better than when we started this, ladies and gentlemen, but bear in mind, this is just me trying to recover from my own bad decision making, alright? The hordes haven't even flipping arrived yet. Never mind the hordes triggering other hordes. Never mind the fact that more hordes will just emerge as the game flipping continues. Never mind the fact that the Berbers will attack us from the south. Never mind the fact that the Eastern Roman Empire will attack us from the east. Never mind the fact that we'll probably have plenty more problems with rebels and public order and the bloody Western Empire rebels yet. Yeah, this is going to get worse before it gets better. But I will say, I am pretty pleased with the start we've had here. I'm pretty darn happy with this. Not that much of the Empire has rebelled, and we have successfully managed to Christianise pretty much the whole flipping thing. We're on an okay footing here, and once we actually successfully reclaim some of these territories and use the money we can get from burning them down to invest in infrastructure, hopefully the economy will be in good shape. I say hopefully because, of course, if I raise one of my own cities when I take it back, that's my own taxpayers I'm killing. So that's actually a loss of money, but of course, the surviving taxpayers will be willing to pay a higher tax rate, and the money I get from raising the city could be used to invest in, say, trade infrastructure elsewhere in the Empire. So does that work out well? I don't know. Mathematically, that might work or it might not. But we're going to give it a chance, ladies and gentlemen. This, of course, is our new series on Thursday and Sunday, and oh, I've been meaning to get round to Barbarian Invasion for so long. The Western Roman Empire campaign is a thing of absolute flipping madness. It's flipping, what, turn 3, and we've already managed to lose, what's that, 6 provinces? 6 provinces have already started to jump ship. 2 more of them might decide to actually join in. I'm in a massive deficit. My troops are barely holding together. I'm having to burn my own infrastructure to stop it being used against me. This is going to be fun. Join me on Thursday for the continuation of Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion, ladies and gentlemen. I am looking forward to what the hell happens next, because I suspect next time we might just get our first glimpse of the first flipping horde, and that's going to be fun, shall we say. But in the meantime, I've been John. This has been Many a True Nut, and this has been Rome Total War with Barbarian Invasion. Thank you very much, and goodbye. This guy's enjoying that. This guy's enjoying his elephant a bit too much.
Oh my god.
In fair Verona, we set our scene. Oh my god, Becky, look at her butt. It is so big. They've managed to glitch inside one of the buildings. Elephants in the rear! And then in come the chariots!